The HOA security dude thought he could bluff a jogger, so he pulled a gun on her. One issue, she wasn't just any jogger. She was my daughter, and she's an FBI tactical commander trained to disarm terrorists. What followed? Let's just say Jerry made the wrong decision to mess with my house. From bogus badges to federal subpoenas, this HOA went from power tripping to panic mode real quick. And at the end of it, my daughter didn't merely stand up for herself. She took down the entire corrupt board. Buckle up, because this isn't just another Karen tale. This is what happens when a neighborhood bully decides to mess with a federal agent who's been trained to de-escalate standoffs. We had just relocated to Silver Pines Estates, a peaceful, gated neighborhood situated beyond the city. On paper, it seemed like a fantasy. Tree-lined avenues, a glistening man-made lake, walking trails, and allegedly first-rate security. My daughter Ava, fresh from having moved back to the mainland from D.C., came to stay with me for a short while. What the HOA did not know, and possibly did not care to learn, was Ava was a 35-year-old FBI tactical operations commander. She was an expert in hostage rescue and high-threat intervention. She didn't brag. She didn't show off. And she definitely didn't start trouble. But trouble, as we'd soon learn, had a habit of starting with her, especially when entitled people thought they had power. On her first day in the neighborhood, Ava took her morning run wearing a hoodie and compression gear. Just another fit woman running laps. But she noticed Jerry, the self-styled head of HOA security. Imagine a guy wearing cargo pants, a belly, a Bluetooth headset, and an ego that can't get through most doorways. Jerry was no cop. He was a retired forklift driver who made himself enforcer, complete with a phony badge and a sidearm. That morning, Jerry tailed Ava in his golf cart and yelled at her over a megaphone. You don't reside here. Halt where you are." Ava stopped, perplexed. "Excuse me? This is private property. Residents only. No loiterers. Produce ID or leave the grounds." Ava replied quietly, "I'm staying at 1128 Foxglove. With my father." Jerry didn't flinch. "No one informed me. You're trespassing. Don't force me to detain you." Ava stared him straight in the eye and replied, "Try." That afternoon it got out of hand. Ava was assisting me with cutting some branches in the backyard when Jerry pushed through our open side gate like he was the landlord. He gestured at Ava and shouted, "You again! You're under neighborhood arrest." "Neighborhood what?" I intervened. He brandished his bogus badge as if that would carry any weight. "This individual does not belong here." That is when things got crazy. Jerry drew a Glock 19 from his hip and aimed it straight at Ava. "Down. Now." I came to a standstill. Ava didn't. In the time it took for my eyes to blink, Ava let the pruning shears fall to the ground, stepped sideways behind the patio column, and uttered quite calmly, "Put the gun away before you regret it." Jerry shouted, "I said down." In 2 seconds flat, Ava disarmed him. She knocked the weapon from his hand, flipped him to the grass, and restrained him using a lock so smooth it looked rehearsed. He screamed, "Assault! You're going to prison." That's when Ava pulled her badge. FBI, Tactical Division. Jerry went white. Police arrived within minutes. When they got there, Jerry yelled about rogue agents and deep state setups. Ava, meanwhile, played back our Ring camera's security footage calmly. The police immediately arrested Jerry for threatening with a firearm, trespassing, and impersonating a law enforcement officer. He was handcuffed in his own backyard while the neighbors peeked from behind hedges. But the tale wasn't finished. The HOA had only just started its war. The following morning, a printed notice was posted on each mailbox. "Dangerous government agent in our community, beware." With a blurry photo of Ava clutching her badge. Signed, concerned HOA board members. They scheduled an emergency HOA meeting. I wasn't invited. Neither was Ava. But we attended anyway. Within the community clubhouse, the board, headed by President Marlene Wickers, a woman who wore pastel-colored suits as armor, was attempting to instill fear. "We don't know who she really is. She attacked Jerry. She's a threat. She won't follow community regulations." Ava entered in mid-sentence. "You want to do this in public? Fine. Let's discuss facts." Marlene was taken aback. This is an executive meeting. Ava flashed her badge once more. So is my investigation. Silence. Jerry's weapon was unlicensed. He had a prior incident in another community. Your board has issued fake citations to over 30 families. You fined veterans for flagpoles and elderly couples for wind chimes. You've lied to residents, misused HOA funds, and now you're interfering with a federal investigation. The room went dead. I didn't come here to rest. I came here to rest. But if you keep harassing, I will handle this HOA like any crooked organization. With precision. Marlene attempted to say something, but her voice trembled. Ava removed a folder from her purse. Here's a copy of a sealed complaint. Several residents filed it anonymously with the DOJ. I know because I received it 2 months ago. I didn't relate it to this facility until now. Several gasps echoed in the room. Ava headed for the door. You needed a power trip. Now you're on a watch list. You'd think the HOA would leave well enough alone after that. Nope. In a week, I received 3 baseless citations. Unauthorized flower color, non-regulation patio furniture, and lawn gnome sighting. Ava received a parking ticket for her FBI-issued SUV. They even flew a drone over our yard to document infractions. So Ava made her last move. She filed a technical federal injunction with the HOA for civil harassment and abuse of power. And then she called in a favor. One Saturday morning, a sunny one, 2 black SUVs pulled up. Out came 5 people in plain clothes, but with the stance and boots of trained agents. They marched straight to the HOA clubhouse and handed out subpoenas to the board. It turns out the HOA had been embezzling money, charging unlawful dues, and employing unlicensed security. Jerry wasn't the first to have a weapon. He was the first to yell. In 3 weeks, Marlene quit. Jerry was convicted of weapon charges and impersonating a police officer. He received 18 months probation and a lifetime ban from doing any kind of licensed security work. Half the board was removed. Residents hosted a block party that weekend. Ava was jokingly referred to as the Sheriff of Silver Pines. She chuckled and brought the local bakery cupcakes. But she did leave us with one sign on our lawn, this time pointing toward the clubhouse. This house is protected by a federal tactical agent. HOA harassment will be prosecuted. They haven't bothered us since. If this tale riled you up like it did us, if you're a believer in justice, standing your ground, and seeing entitled individuals get precisely what they deserve, then this channel is your new home on the internet. We present to you true tales, outrageous, dramatic, occasionally funny, of ordinary people reclaiming their power from HOAs, entitled neighbors, and those who feel their small badge authorizes them to bully others. So here's how you can help us continue to tell these stories. Hit the like button so YouTube knows the story is one that should be told. Subscribe if you want to be the first to watch what happens when Davids slay Goliaths. And leave a comment below, what would you have done if a wannabe security guard pointed a gun at your daughter? We read all of our comments, and your input gets us closer to the next stories we share. Want revenge with a twist? Want justice? You're in the right place. Thanks for watching, and remember, the HOA may have rules, but they don't rule you.